Hi, welcome to our next episode.
Yeah, this is just a little episode about tips and tricks we utilise and we have utilised over the last
5 years. So we've been on the road for full time for 5 years. So in that time we've
caravanning for a lot longer before that. So.
Yes, so in that time we've found lots of little tips to help make things easier. So we thought we'd share them with you guys.
Yeah, so come along for the ride. This is just a little tip that I think is handy for myself. It's when cleaning your solar panel, I've put a little bit of tape on the side of the caravan just to mark the centre of the panel. Ooh, they're dirty. It's like a tree. Okay. Look how dirty these things are. I've been very naughty. It's gone a bit too long. Most of the time I just chamois them off, put some polish on them, and just make it easier to clean next time. So there's my piece of tape. I've put it in the centre of the panel, so it helps me. Thought it might help you guys too. Okay, this is a tip that we've known about for years, but not everybody either remembers to do it or considers it a problem. But just putting your plug lead in here and leaving it hang is not a good idea, especially if the breeze comes up, because you can get a faulty connection up the top here. Previous caravans, well, Jaycos, used to have a little hook that you could hook the lead into, but I hook mine up there so it can't blow in the breeze, and you can't have any problems with usually the earth pole on the 240 lead.
So that makes that useless handle actually useful.
Yes. Yeah.
Every caravan's got one of those.
A little
useful
thing
handles.
that I do every time we hook up. We've got a couple of little tips for the awning. Sometimes it's a little bit windy to have a full awning, and so what we tend to do is
what we call a half awning.
Half awning.
We don't see too many people use the half awning, do we?
No, not a real lot of people use the half awning. So usually 2 clicks up there, and that allows you enough room to open the door.
So a half an awning is much better in the wind,
yeah,
more stable, and sometimes it just gives you enough sun protection over those windows.
For first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And
this red thing.
Yeah, it's just a lucky tie that I can just easily pull it down instead of reaching up there or getting out the pole. I can just yank it. So I run these little eyelets, remove the 6mm screw and put a 6mm eyelet in there. So that's my tie down point.
But it's also good for hanging the washing, the undies. You know that era that dries your undies? It's also good for hanging that on.
Yeah. So I've got the old balustrade
clothesline
there. I've got a space for another one in case we do a lot of washing. Yeah. So the clothesline, this one was custom made.
By yourself?
By myself. I had to buy all the bits and pieces individually from Bunnings, but nowadays you can buy a package and it's all in one. So very easy to do. You've just got to squash these little clips up There's a proper name for them, but I can't remember it off the top of my head.
But that stays on the awning all the time.
Yeah.
So it's really convenient. You can, hang towels at any stage, or, and it does hold, it holds your sheets, both sheets across there.
Just don't have it too tight, otherwise it'll affect the ratchet of the awning. Oh, and also you've got to mount it high enough that it misses the door when you shut the awning and the light. So the rear bumper we've pulled out just another 50mm, so we could put the dirty gear bag on the inside of the spare tyre. But I've also mounted these ammo boxes, which you can buy from super cheap. And they're quite handy. This side is awning stuff. So we've got some ropes and we've got some anti-flappers and some pegs in there for the ropes. And on this side, we have all our watering equipment. So we've got the adapters. Yeah, I just find I like to have everything
handy,
yes, within arm's reach. This Ranger drop-down table was okay when it was warm, but when it was cold, you couldn't open it.
It's been a real nuisance for years.
So it's always been a tight fit, and it doesn't matter what I've done, it's still a tight fit. But so I gave up and put some handles on it.
It's made such a difference. No more broken fingernails opening up the table.
Yeah. Water tank can be a chore for some caravans. They're slow to fill, or they get air locks. This one wasn't too bad, but I still went down and put an extra 2 hoses on the drain hose outlet, and added a tap and this little cover so I can fill from the bottom and fill them up. Yeah, so that's all Bunnings hardware. There's a plug for Bunnings, but it's the gardening section. You find that little tap set up. Reverse cameras, they do get dirty over time, so it's hard to put a ladder up the back, so I put on the rear bumper a fold out step, so I can put just a stool there and step onto the back bumper bar and clean the...
Where did you get that from?
That came from Avesco, which is like a trucking industry supplies.
They use them in trucks.
Yeah. This is probably our most asked about little tip, which I think I stole years ago, but I'm not going to say that.
No, we need to get a patent on it now.
Yeah,
everyone loves this one.
Yeah, it's just 2 strips of aluminium, top and bottom, and we have got all our at-need items when the door's open.
But why did we do it in the first place? It wasn't for storage. You put the top one on first.
Yeah, we put the top one on first, so
when you're inside,
you didn't have to
reach down to the door.
You could reach up here.
Yeah, so that was the purpose of it, as like a door handle. And then we found you could hang things on it. Really, really useful things, like the toenail clippers.
Toenail clippers there, they get used a lot. These nice towels don't, but they do come in handy when you need it. You need it in the middle of nowhere, and it's damn hot.
Yes, but the shoes. So then you added the second one.
Added the shoe rack. Yes.
That's just for our
water shoes.
Yeah, when it's dewy and muddy or muddy.
Crocs.
If you're going to install that.
Oh yeah, it was
big tip.
Well, back in the day, it was $3 worth of aluminium from Bunnings and a couple of screws.
But make sure you don't.
You've got to make sure
that's right.
You clear the latches. So that's why it's very top and very bottom.
Yeah. So make sure
nothing in
or
between.
Otherwise your door won't close.
Yeah. Yep. Got to clear those latches.
We learnt this little tip years ago through an error. about 7 or 8 years ago when we first started caravanning, we were driving on the Oodnadatta track and left our water pump on. We arrived at camp, no water. Not good on the Oodnadatta track. The corrugations had bounced open the water tap, and so we had just drained our water tanks unknowingly on the Oodnadatta track. So we've learnt what to do. And we've done this every time since. We leave our door open where the water pump is. As long as our water pump is on, that door is open. And when we're packing up the van ready to travel, flick the water pump off, close the door. So we know if that door's open, the water pump is on. So we've only got a small caravan, 18 foot, and we live in it full time, as you know. So there's limited cupboard space. So you've got to make use of every space. So this little area here is very useful. Lots of you would have your little bucket there for your washing up gear. This one is your wine glass holder, easy access, always handy, but it saves room in your cupboard here with all the other cups and everything else. So it's just held with a little Velcro tie so they don't rattle around, and one of them has a stubby holder on them so they don't bang. The other thing is this is a stubby holder, quick access. What that is just the lid off a spray bottle. And the dish rack. So the dish rack, when we're travelling, stays in the cupboard with the plates and cups and things. But you can't leave it in there permanently because it's too busy. So this is just a simple little stick-on hook. And so it's the first thing I do when we get to camp is take the dish rack out and hang it on a hook.
It's all about wine.
And I'm set up. It is all about the wine.
Wine o'clock.
We don't have power very often. We usually free camp or freedom camp unpowered. So we find the jet boil is a wonderful asset. So much quicker than boiling on the gas cooker, boiling your old-fashioned kettle. And we have easy access coffee mugs, just like the easy access wine glasses. One little tip I find in the fridge is to have a container or containers to hold things separately. So all our sauces are in a container.
It saved us many a time.
Just when something leaks, it doesn't go through the whole fridge. It's caught in the container. Having that on the second shelf is also handy for the top shelf. Any drips or meat drips or anything actually get caught in that container, and it's easy to wash out. This is one thing that's really handy, is just a small clothesline in the bathroom. So Glenn's rigged it up there so that when we're driving, we can hang a load of washing, and it's quite often it's dry by the time we arrive at camp.
And we've also got a sensor light for those nighttime toilet visits.
Yes, that's another good tip. Glenn's also put in a towel rail here inside the shower, above the shower door, which is handy for dripping swimmers and that sort of thing. Again, with not much cupboard space, the tissues, we didn't have anywhere for them, so we found this hippo. He's a great asset to the van.
He's spring-loaded, so he holds it very securely.
Yep, and just got it mounted on the shower door.
And another little rack we've got there on the shower door, which just hangs over. I think there was a $2 shop visit.
And that's very handy for a tip that I'll show you very soon. This one here is one of my favourite tips, and one that I'm pretty sure none of you use. A heated towel rail. We've got it mounted on the back of the bathroom door. You can work out how it is there. So when we're going to use it, this little hook that we spoke to you about earlier, I hook it on here, on the outside of the shower door. We plug her in. It is 240. So if we've got 240, we plug her in over here. And it's not just for drying towels. I find it really good for when you're in those winter days and you've had your washing out and it's not quite dry at night time. Hang it on here overnight and it's beautiful the next day.
Heavy materials like Levi's.
And denim.
Your denim, yeah.
If I've even been known to, on rainy days, put a pair of jeans on here, out of the washing machine, and they're dry at night time. And it can also run off the inverter.
Well, I hope this has given you some ideas for your van.
tips and tricks that you
and
might be able to apply yourself.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe, please, as always.
That would be great. And we will see you on our next episode.
See you then.
Bye. See you on the road.